So there's just this, which is everything, including the watching happening, the listening happening, thinking happening, sensations being felt, the light in the room itself, the chair, sitting on it, drinking, looking around. There's just what is. And this as it is, it's got nothing to do with the doer, the separate self. There's no doer of anything. It's just what seems to be happening. And it's going nowhere. There's really nothing to be done about what's happening. There's no doer of what's happening. So this is freedom already. It's not that it's freedom for somebody, because there's nobody here to be free already. There isn't anyone who's looking for anything here. And it's just what's happening, which also appears as a seeking, which also appears as looking, searching. But this as it is has got nothing to do with somebody who's separate. There's no doer of anything. So there's just what's happening. So there's really nothing to be done about this. But that's not to say uh, things won't get done. Things will be done, will get done, but there's no separate doer. There's just everything. So this is spacious and empty already. Appearing as an activity. Itself as it is not an activity. It's just spacious and empty. But it may appear as things, but there are no real things. It's just this appearing as that. It may appear as individuals, but there are no real individuals. It's just this appearing as that. Even that which seems to be asking a question is already totality asking a question. Is already totality being confused. Is already totality getting it. It's already totality not getting it. So this is really, it doesn't make sense already. It's going nowhere. It can never be known. It can never be understood. It can never really be gotten, because it's all there is. There's nothing outside of all there is. There's nothing outside of everything to know everything or get everything. Who can point to everything? Who can get everything if there's only everything? So all is this already. No matter what shape or form it may appear to be, it's already this. Every sensations, every feeling, every thought, every wondering, every word appearing is already this. But this as it is already wordless. It doesn't need any word to be spoken for it to be what it is. It doesn't seek any. It doesn't need any seeking to arise for it to be what it is. It doesn't look for somebody to find it already, because it's all there is. It even appears as somebody who's looking for it. It even appears as somebody who has found it. It even appears as somebody who's on the journey. So it doesn't matter. Anything may happen here. There might be somebody, they might be that seeking energy arising, claiming to be on the way, claiming to have got it, claiming to be seeking for it. But there's no real seeker. There's no real finder. It's just totality. Everything already appearing as that. And it's not appearing for anyone. Words themselves are limited. Words can only be used as concepts, really. They can never really describe what this is. This is unknowable. It can never be grasped. That which seems it's more like a dog trying to catch its tail, swings around, 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 you know. So the seeker, the one who seems to be looking for it, can never really find this because there's only this. There's no one who's looking for it already. There's just this. Looking, searching has got nothing to do with the separate self. There is no separate self here. There's just everything. So everything is okay, you know. Any opinion is okay. Any question is okay. Because this is going nowhere. There isn't anybody here who can be helped already. There's just totality appearing as everything. So what is being shared here is that already all is this already. It doesn't matter what may seem to be happening. It's just this appearing as that already. There's no individual. There's no doer. There's no journey. There are no steps to get to this. There's just this, which is everything. This is wordless. It's spacious and empty. It's not just blank space. I would say it's empty and full. So it's alive. It's aliveness. That which seems to appear in it seems to be alive because of this spacious aliveness. This has no boundaries. This has no center. This has no dividing line. This is everything. It doesn't know separation. It doesn't know Africa. It doesn't know America. It doesn't know anything. It doesn't know separation. There's no Africa. There's no America. There's no Europe. There are no worlds. There's no universe. There's just this. There may be labels that may seem to appear in it. So all is this already. So if there are questions appearing, arising, or if anyone would like to share something, feel free to do so. You can simply unmute and shit.
I have something that I've talked to you a little bit about in Nkosi. And I think it's okay to just bring it up in this group because it has somewhat to do, I suppose, with addiction. But I happened to meet someone about a couple of months ago, and I seem to be preoccupied with thoughts of romance and thoughts of this, and I feel somewhat enamored, so it's taking my attention. And then I think, well, I won't see him anymore. That's the way I'm going to fix this. And then my attention will be focused more on this. So I've gone through that dialogue several times in my head. And then I say, well, I'm not going to fix it by getting rid of the person. I mean, that's all this too, but I can't kind of seem to integrate that that is part of this without it taking my attention. So it could be just like addicted to a drug or something. But I don't think either or is really the answer, but I think that everything is this. And I listened to our session last week a couple of times, and I think I understand the mechanics of it, but I just wanted to verbalize it, express it, bring it up. And oftentimes when I do that with you, things change. So do I have to have a specific question? You know, I don't know if we can talk a little bit about that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say it's a story because really there's nobody who's separate here who can do anything. There's no sufferer already of anything. It's just a totality appearing as that. There isn't anybody there who's really facing any problem, who's really addicted to anything.
It's beautiful.
So
Yes.
it's just it's not personal already. It's just what appears in this and disappears. You know, it's what appears in this, and then it's given a label that it's an addiction, but it's not an addiction. It's just this appearing of that. It's nothing. There's nobody there who's a sufferer of anything. There's just totality also appearing as that. So there are no limitations. It may appear as anything, and there's no wrong or right here already. And this doesn't mind. So what's happening has got nothing to do with the separate self, because what seems to be the separate self is already not there as separate, as real. It's just totality appearing as that. It appears to say, oh, I don't like this. I don't not like what's happening. This is an addiction, and an addiction is wrong. Not supposed to be happening. It's just this, everything already appearing as that. So it really doesn't matter. If there is an action that is taken, it's also what's happening. It's got nothing to do with an individual who's doing anything. There might be action that is being taken there, then it's just this already. This doesn't suppress anything. This doesn't say that shouldn't be done. You know, if it comes up that you should do something about that, then it will be done. But the message here is all is already this. There's nothing separate. There's no separation here.
It really makes me feel like I have a wonderful opportunity
Sorry, come again?
in this. It makes me feel like I really have a wonderful opportunity in this situation to practice what you're saying, if that makes any sense, but to really see that there is no individual here, there is no doer. Again, it helps me what you just shared, and makes me appreciate my situation that I can see some of these things. And thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, welcome. So already there are no opposites. The thief is already the policeman. So right is already left. Top is already the bottom. Or you can say there's no left, there's no right. There's no top, there's no bottom. There's no thief and there's no policeman. There's just this. Doesn't matter. Words can never really describe this. Okay, gonna go ahead.
Well, no, I just see the manager in my head wanting to manage everything. Like, how crazy is that? I remember the effortless and obvious that you talked about so often. And if it's not effortless and obvious, there's someone in there who thinks he's the manager of it all. And that one doesn't exist.
Yeah. The one who seems to be the center of the universe is already not there.
Right.
This is boundless energy. There are no borders already. There's no finder already. There's really nothing to find. There's just everything.
Okay. Nkosi, I just was wondering if you, I don't know if I can asked this question well enough, but would you like to comment about people who have used drugs as a portal to expand their consciousness, or I don't know, to see what real, yeah, just to help them in getting this. You know, do you know what I mean? Like I've heard people have experiences with, I don't know, mushrooms, I don't know, ayahuasca, whatever. Could you put that into context for me with what you talk about?
So, okay, I would say here, it is seen that there are no people. There's just everything. There's just wholeness appearing as everything. And here, there is no limitation. Anything may arise. You know, the story may appear in different ways. It may appear somebody who's using drugs to get to some certain place. The story may appear somebody who's trying to make the body fly, or who's trying to astral project. You know, the story may appear as anything. There are no limitations, you know, and there's no wrong or right. It's just what appears to happen. It's got nothing to do with the separate self. There is no separate self already. There are no people here already. There's everything. So it doesn't matter, anything may happen. And the story itself is beautiful. It's not wrong or right. The story is an expression of everything. It's an expression of this. It's got nothing to do with the separate self. Even what seems to be the separate self is already the story. There's no real separate self. There's just this.
When I listen to you speaking with Charles, it sounds as though that you've spent some time exploring different paths, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, at times. Oh, sorry. Can go ahead.
Well, yeah, it's just going to sort of say, it's a personal question. I suppose you don't, maybe I'm putting you on the spot, but in your seeking days, in your searching, did you ever try drugs as a experiment with drugs to see what happens?
No, it never came up here.
Right, okay.
There was a,
but you did.
yeah, there was. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but you practiced, from what I gathered, maybe you practiced meditation quite extremely. Maybe was that something that you did to try to, in your seeking days?
Yeah, there was an intense seeking here. Yeah,
Yeah.
This was an intense seeking. But really, it was seen or noticed that it wasn't Nkosi who was doing that. It was just totality appearing as that. So I would say there was an intense seeking. So it was just totality already, everything appearing as that. There wasn't anybody who was really doing that. In the same way, right now, if that seeking energy appears, it's not, there is no real somebody who's actually seeking. It's just everything also appearing as that. Then something may seem to collapse, and then there may be a recognition that there wasn't anything that was seeking, just totality already appearing as that.
So that was sort of the process. I know I'm using words that you don't like, but that was sort of the process that led you to to where you are now, where you can understand that there are no people and
No, there's no one
on.
here already.
Yeah, but back in the early days, you did think someone was there, didn't you? Or did you always know from the word go that there was no one there?
The seeking energy, it seemed to be there at the time, but when it was recognized that it doesn't exist, it was seen that there wasn't anybody there. It was just totality appearing as that. So even right now, there's nobody here. There's just everything, which is also that which is asking a question right now. That's already everything. There's nobody there.
Yeah, but you see it as there being nobody there, but people like me and Alice, we think there is somebody there a lot of the time.
Okay, then we may look. We may look right now.
I know we could do that. But I see it as a process or as a journey towards losing that identification with the body. And I suppose I just wonder, did you have, I'm assuming that you at one stage way back, that you also identified with the body, and that somehow as you, I don't know, as you moved through life, you realized that you weren't the body. Is that correct? Do you get me what I'm saying?
Well, what I can say is there's no one here already.
Yeah, no, you would
Yeah.
say that.
There's no one here who achieved enlightenment, who got enlightenment, who's now a guru. There's just empty space. Even that which is asking a question right now is already empty. Who's really asking a question right now? Let's look. Don't think about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's
And
play
I love
let's play around with concepts. Who doesn't know? Is the body asking a question? Who wants to know, really? Who's there? As what are you looking? Or are you asking a question? Is it not just a thought?
Mm-hmm.
Where is faith?
I don't
Can
know.
faith be found?
Don't think so.
Yeah. It's already totality appearing as that. There's no faith there. There's no woman there. There is a body. It's called a woman, but there's no faith. The one who claims to be the body is already not there. It's empty. I'm a man, I'm a woman is a story, is an information. It's just a bundle of information. It's just a knowledge in the memory that is not even there. The knowledge that I was born, one day I grew up in a certain location, I'm a woman, I'm married, I have a husband, I live somewhere. That's an information. It's a story. The bundle of information can never know anything, can never get anything because it's just it's nothing. It's not there already. It's empty. So there's nothing here. There's just everything. Or I should say it's nothing being everything.
In our meeting last Sunday, we talked about steps, and I found that really, really helpful. I think to surmise it, it really touched me. Like in AA, you have 12 steps to get to wherever you're getting to. And we're always looking for steps. If we may be meditating enough, we're going to get there. If we're this or that. So I've been really aware this week about the steps. I think I have to, whatever, but everything you're talking about is available here, right here and now. There are no steps to it. It's just here. And but yet I think I've been to the 12 steps, but we're talking about something so entirely different. It feels like here this non-duality that we already have, that it's already absolutely who we are without a story. Anyway, I just felt to share that because I found it helpful.
Beautiful. Yeah, there is no real story.
Yeah, I was gonna say that considering. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
No, we keep talking about that there is nobody here, there is nowhere to go, nothing to happen. And then we get back to what are the steps and what was before, and we're talking about stories and concepts. And then there is said that there really isn't anything but this. So the answer to all these questions is that they're mostly stories and concepts, I would imagine. No?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just this. This may take any direction. This may appear as questions, may appear as answers. It may appear as a discussion. It may appear as a journey, but there's no real journey. There are no real questions and answers. There's just this. It may appear as mountains, blue sky, planets, universes, multiverses. It doesn't matter. It's already this. Those are just labels. No, those are just concepts. Concepts are beautiful because also they are an expression of this. Everything is an expression of this. There's nothing really outside of this. Even when it seems as if what is being discussed here is not this. Not this is already this. This is already this. Not getting it is already this. Looking is already this. Not looking is already this. I'm so stressed is already this. Appearing as that. So confused. It's already this. All these bodies are empty already. They can only be an imagination that, oh, I'm this body. I was born one day. I'm Don, I'm Peter. That's all in imagination. It's all imagined. There's no real Peter, there's no real Don. There's no real Michael. It's just everything, totality. What is this appearing as that? And that which seems to imagine is not separate. It's already this. Dreaming or imagining itself to be separate from itself. Then it recognizes that it has never been separate. It's playing a game of remembering and forgetting. There's no young man, young woman, old man, old woman here. There's just this. I would say this is alone as everything.
That's another gem of a statement. This is alone as everything. Wow.
Yeah. Thoughts don't matter. They're just thoughts. I'm the body thought. This I'm the body thought is not an evidence that there's a real you, separate you. It's just a thought. It may seem to have a weight that I'm here, but it's just another thought. That may seem to be affected by other thoughts. But that space where all thoughts appear is already here. Thoughts appear in it and disappear in it. That space is unchanging. Sensations appear and disappear in it. Questions appear and disappear in it. But the space remains as the unchanging. Then that space and what appears in it is not separate, is one. That space is not a man or a woman, doesn't have any culture, doesn't have any race, doesn't know anything. It's not expecting anything. It's not waiting for anything to happen. It's not trying to get anything. It is the unborn, the undying. It is indestructible. It doesn't know the other. There are no others. There's just this, which also appears as these bodies. So these bodies are one because of this space. These bodies are already this space. So there's no separation. There's no there and here. There's just this. It's already boundless. There's no separation. And this space doesn't have any steps. There are no steps here. If there were to be steps, where would they lead to? It's already everywhere present. There's nothing. If there were to be a journey, where would it lead to? So really, there's nothing here. There's just this. Nobody to find anything already, and nothing to find. And this is not trying to convince anybody. There's just talking happening and listening happening. And it's not personal. It's just what appears in this as this.
So everything is appearing as a separate me, Dawn, and the separate me, Dawn, is not separate.
That's which is asking a question right now is already everything, is not separate.
So I was asking from a place of separateness.
You?
Yeah.
No, there's just everything already appearing as that.
Everything's appearing as me now, and this appearance is not separate because it's everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that there's no separation here isn't said to anybody.
Come again, Michael?
That there's no separation isn't being said to anybody. There's nobody separate to hear that. Already.
And the crux of the matter is that there is nobody that is trying to get it either. It just appears that way. It appears that there are questions that keep coming up and are trying to explain it, and there isn't really anybody that does that.
Yeah.
Including the thought that it just appeared, that I just got it. That didn't really happen.
Yeah. The voice, the voice in the head doesn't belong to anyone. The voice that seems to be speaking right now, it's not personal, doesn't belong to you. It's not you. It's just what appears in this. May say anything. May say yesterday, I remember yesterday when we were walking in the park. It was beautiful. It's just a voice. It's just a thought. Belong to nobody. It's an appearance. Just an appearance in this.
Nkosi, I got an email and the person had a question. And I'm going to take one of the things that you said to Charles in that video as an example of what the email said. You said to Charles, silence will never leave you. Silence will never leave you. So the gist of the email, they wanted to know who this you was that the silence was never going to leave.
Well, if in that clip if continue to listen to it, there is also where I said silence will never leave you because silence is you. Already. You are silence. Can you leave yourself? So there's only silence. There's only silence. Doesn't matter. There's only this. Those are just words. But this as it is wordless. And everything seems to be saying the same thing, that there's just this. The blankets, the chair, the trees, the dust is speaking the same language, that there's just this. There's that silence in everything, because silence is everything. It's undisturbed. It's not the kind of silence that needs somebody to be quiet so they could be silenced. No. It's silent in the midst of talking, cars hooting in the busy streets, people walking around shouting. That silence is always there. It's undisturbed. It's louder than any noise. Any noise appearing is appearing from that silence. Anything happening is appearing from that silence. Any talking happening is appearing from that silence. There could be a noticing that may seem to happen, that there's just silence. But yeah. So the story itself is appearing from that undisturbed silence. So the story, when it is seen from there, it's seen as beautiful. Everything is okay. Every opinion is okay. Every suggestion is okay. So there's no wrong or right here already.
I love that.
And-
There's
and-
nothing to feel guilty about, is there? Sorry, Nkosi.
yeah, beautiful.
Sorry I interrupted you.
Just what's happening. Have you ever seen a dead body? I'm just making an example, just that there's so much silence, and it's beautiful when you look at it. It's beautiful. There may be thoughts will keep on running. Oh, it's a dead body. Oh, he's gone. But there's nobody there. There was nobody there in the first place. So it's already empty. No one dies because no one has ever been born. So there's nobody to die. There's just everything. There's just totality. So there's no difference between the dead and the living. There's no one who's living already, and there's no one to die.
But like everything has a story, that there's living and dying. So it always gets back to, for me, why is everything having a story, that people are living and dying and going through all this stuff? Why?
There's no why, it's just what's happening. It's a play. It's beautiful. So are there any
I just want-
questions?
I just want to quick tell Peter how much I enjoy his contributions. I enjoy your contribution, your synopsis of some of the things that are said. They seem to fall into place so beautifully. And thank you.
Wow.
You're welcome. You're
Thank
welcome,
you.
Alice. Are there any questions? All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Yeah, it was nice being with you. And see you we meet next time. Bye, everybody.